MC Tone from the 757 Spin Number the Truth. But back to y'all with another video. And today is my 10 biggest offseason moves of the 2021 offseason NFL. And this NFL offseason has been crazy. A lot of quarterback transitions and a lot of teams looking to improve in certain spots. But which teams had the biggest moves? Well, let me explain right here now. I'm going to go with number one. I'm going to go say the Kansas City Chiefs. With the Orlando Brown Jr. and Joe Thuney signings, you have one of the best guards and best and consistent guards in the league with Joe Thuney, and to me, one of the best offensive tackles in the league with Orlando Brown Jr., who replaced Stanley when he got hurt. And you heard about Orlando Brown Jr. He wanted to play left tackle. He is a left tackle to me. He's dominant like a left tackle to me. And that was smart for the Kansas City Chiefs to trade their number one pick for somebody who's an all-pro caliber left tackle to me. Orlando Brown Jr., he's aggressive, he's strong, he's big, and he's definitely looking to protect somebody like a Patrick Mahomes. And he's going to have fun playing underneath Andy Reid. Edward Hilaire, he's definitely going to do his thing, running behind somebody like Orlando Brown Jr. and a Joe Thuney. And you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they suffered a few injuries with Fisher and the other right tackle was Switzer, and now they have somebody like Orlando Brown Jr. and Joe Thuney to replace them, and you can't complain about what they did this offseason. You've seen what happened to them in the Super Bowl. Shaquille Barrett and Frank Clark, Shaquille Barrett was definitely making it hard on them, and somebody like a Devin White was definitely one of the best players in that day in the Super Bowl. But Orlando Brown Jr. and Joe Thuney was definitely what they needed. Their line is revamped, and they're looking to make that a third Super Bowl appearance in 3 years. I'm gonna go with number two. I'm gonna say the Cleveland Browns with John Johnson and Troy Hill. The Cleveland Browns defense to me did not perform well last season, especially in the secondary. If you have somebody like a Denzel Ward, and you drafted somebody like who drafted Greedy Williams to me, and you got a Myles Garrett, you do expect them to be a little bit better all around, but they just didn't have it in the secondary. But now adding John Johnson and Troy Hill to the mix, they're definitely going to be way better in the passing game. And let's not forget, they did add Jadeveon Clowney. So their run defense is going to be well and improved. You got Myles Garrett on one side, and you got Jadeveon Clowney on one side. And that's going to be one of the best tandems probably in the NFL all season if Jadeveon Clowney can stay healthy and you bring out the best of him. Because remember, when Jadeveon Clowney, when he is locked in, he is one of the best defensive ends in the league. But it just seems if he's locked in, especially he's going to be playing with somebody like a Myles Garrett, who Myles Garrett's going to cause a couple of double teams. But Jadeveon Clowney, he's definitely one of the best run stuffers in this league. So adding Jadeveon Clowney with the John Johnson, with the Troy Hill, who's good at playing the nickel, that's definitely going to add some dimensions to their defense, and they're going to be one of the most improved defenses in this league. I'm going to go with number three, New England. They got Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Trent Brown, and Jonnu Smith. Man, that is great that they added those players, man. And you can't complain about what they have done and what they've revamped this offseason. They know they needed to get weapons. Cam did not have a lot of targets to throw to. When adding somebody like a Hunter Henry and a Jonnu Smith, big targets for Cam Newton to add on to, that is definitely well received in the New England Patriots. And we gotta remember, Mac Jones, there's a lot of whispers in New England how good he is, man. And they got comparisons of Tom Brady. So it's going to be a definitely interesting offseason knowing that you have somebody like that who's being compared to Tom Brady, and Josh McDaniels are on the same page. I'm going to go with number four, the Tennessee Titans. I like the Julio Jones sign. They lost Jonnu Smith, but it was addition by subtraction. And Julio Jones, to me, he's still a top 5 receiver. He's not the best receiver anymore, but he's definitely a top 5 receiver, and he does still need to be respected. When he's healthy and he's on the field, he is gonna grab a lot of attention, and it opens up the field, especially for the other wide receivers. They lost Corey Davis, of course, but they still have that young stud at the other wide receiver position, and they still got somebody like a Henry running all over people, man. And at the end of the day, Tannehill, he must love his targets right now. I think Tennessee Titans might be a dark horse team. They know what they needed. They needed to add targets, especially in this AFC when you got somebody like the Kansas City Chiefs. You need to put up points. So at number 4, and I'm gonna say number 5. I'm gonna say Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. I know people gonna think, well, these are off-season moves. Hey, the draft was in the off-season, and picking up somebody like a Justin Fields to me was big for Chicago. They needed a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky was not it. And adding somebody like a Justin Fields who is coming, he's giving good raves in training camp, talking about his leadership, his deep ball. I heard his deep ball, the receivers really love him. Maybe sitting him behind Andy Dalton, but I don't see why not he can't compete. Especially you hear whispers in training camp and in minicamp how good he is. And I like Justin Fields and what Chicago did. Traded up to get him. It was a very smart move. And for the New England Patriots, let me not forget, too, for Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon is a great player. He's definitely going to make some noise, and watch out for him. I'm going to go with, for number 6, I'm going to say the Los Angeles Chargers with Corey Lindsey and Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater, man, number 13 of the draft, left tackle out of Northwestern. He has good feet, good footwork, plays with a good base. And Corey Lindsey out of Green Bay, a center. And the Chargers, they could not protect nobody last offseason. And they had one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And just picking up those two, you can tell that the Chargers are trying to protect their franchise quarterback with Justin Herbert. And that's definitely a smart move. Justin Herbert, he has a top 10. He has potential to be one of probably the best quarterback in the league. Because some of the throws I've seen, those are big boy throws, man. Those were some throws that couldn't be even made by people who've been in the league for 10 years plus. But he has that potential. He has a great arm. The Chargers are trying to protect him, keep him healthy, and that's what I like. I'm going to go with number 7, the Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford. Listen, I'm not a big Matthew Stafford fan. I'm not going to lie to you. And this is a do-or-die season for Matthew Stafford. He's put up big stats on losing teams. And he's that excuse, though, the team is not good enough. He has no running game. He has no defense. To me, you have somebody like an Andrew Luck, who was the number 1 pick in the draft, leading sorry teams to the playoffs and playoff wins. But Matthew Stafford couldn't do the same. I don't really understand that, but I do think there's a lot of pressure on him to perform and perform well with this team. This Los Angeles team is loaded on defense and offense, so there is no excuse for somebody like a Matthew Stafford. They gave up two first-round picks for him, and it's time to perform. Let's see if he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Was it the team or was it the player? I'm going with 8, the New York Giants with Kenny Galladay. They added some weapons in the New York Giants. Kenny Galladay, you got Joe Thuney coming out of the draft. And that was a smart move. A lot of speed and a lot of size. And I thought that's what they needed at the wide receiver position was size. And I think that somebody like a Daniel Jones can definitely perform. He's a very good quarterback. Because sometimes still struggles with turnovers, and that does still need to be improved. But having Saquon Barkley back with the Kenny Galladay, that offense is definitely going to definitely cause a lot of trouble, especially when you have somebody like the Cowboys who do have a lot of weapons. So you do need somebody like a Kenny Galladay to help stretch the field. I'm going to go with 9, Colts with Carson Wentz. Another quarterback who right now a lot of people feel like they lost hope on. Carson Wentz, he went from being an MVP candidate or winning the MVP that year to be now being probably a backup if he doesn't even perform well this offseason. He's under Frank Wright. Frank Wright coached him before. He did a great job with Phillip Rivers because people thought Phillip Rivers was done. But now it's his turn for Carson Wentz. And hopefully Frank Wright gets his confidence back, and he's the Carson Wentz from 2018, I believe. And he believes in himself before the ACL injury. And I think this could be a improved Carson Wentz. And Philly could be looking like fools right now if they traded for trading him. And I'm going to go with number 10. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I love the Kendall Fuller. The Broncos have one of the best secondaries in the league. And that's important knowing that they're going to have to play somebody like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers, who have one of probably the best weapons in the league, and quarterbacks to me who are probably going to be top 5 quarterbacks. Okay, they have Patrick Surtain, you got Kendall Fuller, you got Kareem Jackson, you got Justin Simmons. You have some of the best cornerback and secondary in the league, safeties in the league. So just them picking up somebody like a Kendall Fuller brings a lot of dimension to them. And this offseason, I think overall, the NFL offseason, a lot of teams were looking to improve in certain areas, especially in the quarterback position. And that's just my thoughts and my opinions. Share, like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. So now.